Everyone, today I'll be going through the brain in the vat thought experiment. And the brain in the vat is basically a philosophical scenario used in a variety of thought experiments intended to draw out certain features of humans' conceptions, such as knowledge, knowledge, reality, truth, mind, consciousness, and meaning. And although these terms might seem a bit bizarre, it is a very popular topic for philosophers in general because these are very abstract concepts. And the purpose of thought experiments is just to bring out these concepts to fruition. In other words, you can say that using thought experiments allow people to discuss these topics in a more sensible manner and not so that they don't appear as abstract. Brain the Vet is basically created by this guy called Gilbert Harman, and it is basically a modernized version of Rene Descartes' evil demon theory. The demon theory is basically a person living in a world created by a demon or evil demon. So the world that the person is in is false because it's all created by the evil demon. So in this modern version, the scenario involves a mad brain scientist that might remove a person's brain from the body and suspend it in a vat of life-sustaining liquid. So this brain is still alive and is connected by neurons to a supercomputer that will be sending electrical impulses identical to those of the brain that the brain normally receives. And the computer would then be technically stimulating reality through appropriate responses. So it'll be like projecting reality into this brain. And the disembodied brain would then continue to have perfectly normal consciousness or conscious experience, such as those like let's say this guy's walking and then the reality the computer simulating is the person walking, and such that the person with the body brain would have these experience without being in the actual world because it's all simulated by the computer. And this theory is mainly used to discuss concepts such as global or Cartesian skepticism, which is basically the view that we cannot be certain of the knowledge we have of the external world because we cannot access it directly. So one argument is that it's based on the causal theory of reference, where a word describing an object is only meaningful and only possesses information casual to whatever it donates. So let's say I say that this apple is an apple, right? We don't know that. Because it's only useful if my brain, this is a shitty brain, my brain interprets it as an apple, right? Therefore, let's say I say that I am a brain in the vat. This sentence in the vat will be false, or it won't have meaning because these terms like brain and the vat with a fails to denote actual brains and actual vets whom you see this apple from. In other words, okay, let me try to rephrase this. In other words, right, you cannot conceptualize being in the brain in the vat because the information that you have, like towards your brain, like this, is limited to the computer simulation. And since the computer is not telling you that you are a brain in the vat, you can't really definitively prove that you are a brain in the vat. Of course, this is more popular in many fictional works such as The Matrix or many science stories where if you take the red pill, you take the blue pill, you know blah blah blah. And this has also led to other philosophical perspectives such as like externalism, realism, pragmatism, and functionalism in the world of skepticism. So let's just discuss what skepticism means in general. The most popular one that we have is local skepticism, which is basically common sense. So in global skepticism, it's a theory that is the view that we cannot know anything at all, and that the possibility of all knowledge and as like or justified beliefs is questioned. So global skeptics normally point to the lack of possibility of certainty in our beliefs because we cannot know that our beliefs are true. Therefore, global skepticism attempts to undermine the possibility of forming justified theories. Basically, we cannot know anything at all. We don't know anything in this world to be true, and we can only know to a certain extent of the possibility of being true. On the other hand, local skepticism, which is the one that most people are familiar with, is the view that we cannot possess knowledge in certain particular domains. So in this, it contrasts that basically this is all knowledge, rather, and local skepticism is only in specific areas of study such as moral, scientific, or metaphysics. So local skeptics normally think that they can contain our invisible ignorance within limited bounds, and that we only know what we know. Some things that are basically out of our reach. And skepticism is most important in the area of science. So skepticism in science is basically questioning or challenging claims that are not really supported by evidence or explanation or reason. And it plays a crucial role in the scientific process as it really questions researchers to ask probing questions and engage in some inquiry or rigorous inquiry. So it probing questions and inquiry. So this is most normally common in research papers where you need to share your research paper to the scientific community so that they can use inquiry to improve and add on to your knowledge. And by approaching scientific claims with a skeptical attitude, scientists are able to challenge assumptions, scrutinize evidence, and also seek alternative explanations to the current scientific theory they are working on. And the scientific method is the best tool devised to actually discriminate between true and false patterns, or to distinguish reality and fantasy, or to detect baloney. So, in other words, so that they can detect that something may or may not be bullshit. However, I must say that it is not skepticism. It's not really the I can spell it, skepticism. It's not really the denial or rejection of ideas without objective consideration. So being properly skeptical is really the promotion of scientific inquiry or critical investigation, or the use of examining controversial extraordinary claims. And it is basically foundational in the scientific method. Denial, on the other hand, is basically a priori rejection of ideas without objective consideration. And then normally this stems from people believing things from their own opinion, or things that have no evidence to support it. Therefore, they lead to denying, and they call it, it's skepticism. But really, when they examine their own beliefs, maybe they should be skeptical of their own beliefs instead. Of course, this also relates to pseudoscience and other fields, but the most prominent field is in the science or STEM field, where you have to use investigative methods to bring up your hypothesis. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed my video. I'll leave this document in the description for you to reference if needed. Thank you.